Hey guys, welcome back to FundedSquad YouTube channel. FundedSquad is the one and only firm to offer you instant funding on a monthly subscription. And now we recently changed our two-step challenge model as well, where now we are offering 8% static drawdown with 6% phase 1 and 6% phase 2 target. We have our trader today here. He was trading a 200K funded account here at FundedSquad, and he made significant payout, received a payout of $16,700 from FundedSquad. And in today's interview, we're going to deep dive into his story, how he became profitable, his trading strategy, his risk management, how he made almost $20,000 with FundedSquad and received a payout of $16,700, which is 85% of what he made, and also any tips that he has for you guys if you want to be like Joe. So congratulations, man, first of all, and thank you so much for joining. Tell us something about yourself, who you are, and where are you from?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for having me. So as you know, my name is Joe. I'm from Lebanon. I am 23 years old and my background is actually in finance. Once I started my university studies in finance, this is where I got interested in trading. And, I came across prop firms and the whole idea of prop firm is really interesting to me. And this is when I first started.
So how long was it ago when you started trading? Like, you were just 23 years old and you're quite young, to be honest.
Yeah. So I started trading back in 2020.
All right.
So it's like around 5 years ago. It's actually a funny story. I had a friend come over to my house and I had no idea about prop firms. So back at the time, he was trading with Blue FX.
I remember. I was once with them back in 2019 and 2020.
Yeah. So their rules were pretty hard. But they were one of the oldest prop firms out here. So he had an account at Blue FX and he started explaining to me the concept of prop firms, like how it solves your capital problem. So it got me interested. I got first a 50K account with Blue FX. I got my first payout with the help of my friend of $1,250. And this is where I knew like this is all legit and real money can be made from this space. Yeah, that was like 5 years ago. And here we are now.
So you've been trading for 5 years and you started trading with Pro from the same year when you started learning trading. So
Yeah.
when you got your first payout, it was 2020. But after that, you have been trading for 5 years. So how much you have done with Pro from so far?
So basically the first year it wasn't much. The first 6 months I spent only learning how to trade, developing my trading strategy. And so for the first 6 months, I barely made any money. So I had this payout. Then I bought another challenge. I lost it and I kept learning from it. So the first year, I think it was break even for me. And from the second year on, this is where I started making real money with prop firms. So I would say for the last 5 years, I made somewhere around 320K with different prop firms. So as you know, Blue FX, then I started with Funding Talent, funding.
I remember I was with them as well. They're long gone back in 2021.
Exactly. And after Funding Talents, I went with my Forex funds. And yeah, after my Forex funds, I stuck with TFT for a while. I was funded 600K with TFT in total funding. However, they closed for a bit and they had some issues. So after that, I stuck with FTMO. And I came across FundedSquad a couple months ago. And this is where I started trading with you guys. And yeah, got my first payout now.
So man, overall, you have done 300,000 plus just with Pro Farm in total of 5 years of period. Personally, in the past 2.5 years, and I documented every single journey of how I was receiving the payouts on my YouTube channel. I did like 170,000. I was just trading part-time. I don't really trade full-time at all anymore. But back in the days, I was also just trading part-time and focusing on the other businesses. But 300K is definitely a good amount of money. You received 16.7K from FundedSquad. I've seen how you traded. It was really, really good. With that being said, I want to deep dive into your trading strategy, how you trade, what's the idea behind when you're taking a trade, why you take the trade, like what are the things that you see in the market before you decide that you want to take a trade?
So basically, my trading strategy is smart money concepts. I trade using smart money. Smart money is all based around having a small stop loss with a big take profit. So my risk to reward is actually big. It actually helps me with passing that challenge. How I do it is, first of all, I start with the higher time frame. I assess the market direction from a higher time frame perspective. Once I have my higher time frame perspective, I dive deeper into the lower time frames. So for example, I start with the daily or the 4-hour time frame, then I dive deeper into the 1 hour 30 minutes time frame. On a lower time frame, I look at the market trend. So for example, if on the higher time frame that trend is bullish, I try to take a buy entry on lower time frames and hold it for a higher high. That's where my take profit would be. I usually trade demand zones and supply zones, and I use the Fibonacci tool to have some confluences and some further confirmation with my entries. So I take an entry on a discounted demand, and I would target the previous higher high. And same thing if I am taking a short setup, I would have my entry on the supply zone, on a premium supply zone, and target the previous lower low. So my risk to reward would be 1 to 5, 1 to 6 usually. Sometimes even it could go to 1 to 15, but that would really depend on the setup.
No, that's perfect. So
Yeah.
you're using smart money concepts. Now, trading strategy, I would say it's one part of the puzzle. And the most important for me is risk management. Without risk management, no one really can pass the challenge. Like, unless or until you are lucky, but you can never make 300K when you don't know what you're going to be doing with the risk management. So I always recommend having a solid risk management. I want to know what is your risk management, how you passed phase 1, how you passed phase 2, how you trade different account, what risk you do in each phase.
So personally, when I first started, I lost lots of accounts, and this is what made me dive deeper into risk management. So I have this strategy that I use. For the first 3%, I use a 0.5% risk. Okay, so when I first start my challenge, I use a 0.5% risk until I reach 3%. Once I have a 3% profit in my account, this is where I would higher my risk to 1%.
Makes sense.
So this way, it would help me pass the challenge faster, and I would have some room for losing trades. So, for example, with smart money concepts, because the risk to reward is so great, if I am already 3% in profits, then I would just need a trade with a 1 to 3 risk ratio that would help me get the target. And if I lose, then I only lose 1% and I still have 2% profits, and I have to make like 4% more, But usually take it slow for the first bit of the challenge until I am 3.5% in profits. So this is what I do.
That's for the challenge, but what you do for the funded account?
For the funded account, it's pretty similar. I start with a 0.5% risk, especially for if I'm starting with a new firm that I don't know anything about, I would start with a low percentage risk and I'd have a small payout. However, personally, I have different accounts in different prop firms. So, for example, I could have an account where I would risk really low, like 0.25 or 0.5%, be really conservative, have a consistent payout stream from this account. And I'd have another account where I would risk a little bit more, for example, 1% per trade, and aim for the payouts in the 5 digits,
Makes sense.
So, so it would really depend on the prop firm and on the type of account that I would have.
That's wonderful. And that's something you do it really professionally, to be honest. I've talked to hundreds of traders over the years, and they seem to reach out to one payout or 2 payouts. But after that, they are always blowing the account. So they are like blowing 10 challenges, reaching funded account stage for one time, then blowing that or getting a payout and then blowing that. So it's always like they're stuck in a cycle, because what they lack is, I would say, discipline and the understanding of how they're going to be playing with money. Because for everyone, definition of money is different. You can afford to lose probably $1,000 in one trade, but someone on the other hand cannot really afford to lose $1,000 in one single trade, even though the account is same. But because the discipline is not there and the psychology is not there, and they don't really understand how money works, so it's a bit hard for each individual, and they need to develop that risk management as well as the psychology. They need to work on that separately. For different individual, it's different, I would say. Talking about psychology, how do you deal with losses?
Personally, I have learned to be detached emotionally from my trading. I think this is key into trading because, if you there are times where you can lose a few trades in a row and your account would be in a drawdown. And, this is all part of trading. You don't have to panic. All you have to do is be detached to your trading, stick to your trading plan, and just take your account like percentage wise and not number wise. So for example, If you have a 200,000 account and you lose $5,000, for people it's like $5,000, you know? But on a 200K account, it's 2.5%. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you have to make it percentage wise and not seeing the actual number on the account. Once you do that, you stick to your trading plan, you be detached emotionally from your trading. This is where you will do like much better in your trading. This is the key for me that helped me a lot, you know. Like when my account would be down 2, 3, 4% sometimes, I just tell myself, okay, look, I can recover all of this in 1 or 2 trades, you know.
Makes sense.
Just stick to the plan, stick to the trend, stick to your risk management, don't over risk. The account is still with you, you know, it's still not blown. You could still recover it. Take it easy, take it slow, and be patient. I think this is the key things that would help a lot of traders to not blow their accounts.
Perfect. Very wonderful. For people who are watching, what would you advise, like your experience with Funded Squad? Any words for them, like if they want to take challenge with Funded Squad? Anything that you want to say about us?
Yeah, personally, my experience with FundedSquad is probably the best out of all the prop firms that I have worked with. As I have mentioned, all the prop firms that I worked with before, FundedSquad was the smoothest out of all of them. You know, hit my targets, got my challenge, hit my nearly $20,000 profits, and like nearly instantly I got a message from you guys. I got a message back that, okay, congratulations, you got your payout. And yeah, here you are doing this podcast right now. So it's really smooth. I would encourage everyone to take a challenge with FundedSquad because they are really smooth and they are dealing with all the accounts in a really professional way.
I really appreciate it, man. And I'm so glad that you decided to go with us. You gave us a chance, and now here we are. You received almost a 17K payout from us. Everyone who is watching, anyone who wants to become profitable like you and who wants to do hundreds of thousands of dollars in payout from prop firms, what would you advise to them? How they should be passing the challenge? How they should be approaching prop firms?
Firstly, I would advise everyone to take it slow. You know, the idea of having a 100K or 200K funded account is great, but obviously you won't achieve it if you over risk, if you over trade. That's actually a point that I want to talk about. So over trading is a really huge problem for lots of traders. Personally, like it could pass a whole week. I could take maybe one trade. Sometimes I wouldn't take any trades if the market isn't presenting me with any real opportunities, you know? So all you have to do is just be patient, stick to the plan, and take it slow. That's it. If you do that, if you develop a real trading strategy, then this would help you indefinitely with becoming profitable. Be patient, be slow, take it easy, and yeah, don't be attached emotionally to your trading.
That's perfect, man. Thank you so much for joining me today, taking your time to come on the interview on the podcast to share your experience with Funded Squad, to share with the audience how you became profitable, your journey, how much you made, and the amazing risk management strategy tips as well as psychological tips. So, everyone who's watching, this was Joe, who just received a 16.7K payout from Funded Squad. And if you are looking to get funded with Funded Squad, I have added the discount and the link in the description. Do not forget to check out our 35% off on the 2-step challenge and the 1-step challenge, and up to 25% off on instant funding if you are a new customer at Funded Squad. So again, man, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, guys, see you in the next video. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.